Hey there, I'm Heather Sullivan. Thanks so much for joining us on Sullivan's Smart Sense. Today, we are talking about how to pay for college. We know the cost of college just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. And we know so many students right now this is that time of year where they're really starting to take a hard look at where they want to apply and how they are going to pay for it, how they're going to find scholarships. So we're going to answer a lot of your questions today about where to find scholarships. Where do you find these? How do you apply for them? How can you streamline that? And what are some tips to help make sure that you and your kids win some of those scholarships? So joining me today is a wonderful expert. I'm so glad she's joining us. This is Jennifer Finetti, and she is the Director of Student Advocacy with Scholarship Owl. Thanks so much for being with us. And tell us a little bit about your background. I know you're really an expert on how all of this works.
Yeah, in addition to working with students for many, many years on helping them prepare for college, I'm also a parent, and I got my own two kids away through college and managed to figure out a way to pay for it with them. So, I think I'm an expert on all levels on this topic.
You certainly are. Just, speaking of kids, my cat is joining us, of course, now that I've started on this. So if he pops up, let's talk first a little bit about Scholarship Owl, what Scholarship Owl is and how it can help.
Scholarship Owl is a really exciting platform for students to be able to apply for scholarships that are a good match for them. And I say to apply rather than to search, because with Scholarship Owl, we've already done the search and match for you based on the information that the student puts into their profile. So you don't have to wonder if the scholarships in your match list are ones you're qualified for or that you're eligible for. You don't have to wonder if they're still active and accepting applications, because if they're in your match list, that means you're eligible and you can just apply right away.
Okay, wonderful. He's being persistent today. I apologize for that. Okay, but let's dive in a little bit about first, how does a student and their family sort of determine how much money they're going to need for school?
The best way to do that really is to spend time looking at the cost of attendance that you can find on each college's website. So for example, if you're a high school senior or the parent of a high school senior and you're applying to a bunch of different colleges right now, you'll want to check the cost of attendance listed on each website. Typically, if you're going to go to an in-state public university, it's going to cost anywhere from $25,000 to $35,000 per year. If you're going to go to a private or out-of-state college or university, it can cost anywhere from $45,000 to $80,000 a year, depending on the school. So it's really important to know what that cost of attendance is. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to be able to estimate approximately how much federal financial aid you may get in the form of a Pell Grant or a state grant from your home state. You can usually find that information on their website just basically by looking at your income. And if you've already applied for the FAFSA, you can look at your EFC number and get some of that information. But the bottom line is you need to estimate what's left for you to pay for, right? So for example, if you estimate that, it's going to cost $25,000 a year to attend your in-state public university that you want to go to, and if you believe that you will receive, let's say you're going to receive a Pell Grant of $6,000 and maybe a state grant. And I'm just throwing these numbers out. Let's say the state grant is $4,000. That's $10,000, right? So somehow you and your family need to come up with the additional $15,000 that it would take to go to that school. And so then you can look at, okay, well, here's how much my parents or my grandparents have set aside. Here's how much I've saved for myself. Here's how much I'm earning during my part-time job. And somehow I'm going to have to now come up with $10,000 more. How do I do that? Well, a great way to do that, of course, is to apply for scholarships. Another way you could do that is by applying for student loans, which I strongly suggest students don't do unless it's the last resort. You want to try to earn that money in other ways, either through working and earning an income or through scholarships. And most students need to do both, frankly, to cover. Usually a job isn't going to be enough. Usually scholarships alone are not going to be enough.
Okay. I apologize. I just fed him. That usually does the trick. Okay. Well, let me ask you my next question, and then I'm gonna do something to get rid of him while you answer that question. You talked about the FAFSA. A lot of people might think, well, I've done the FAFSA, aren't I done? So talk a little bit about, why really you need to also look for other opportunities and how you can go about finding and applying for some of those.
Well, of course, with the FAFSA, it's all need-based. So some students will qualify for a Pell Grant, for example, a federal grant, and that's if they are pretty low income. So if you are a middle income family or upper middle income family, unfortunately, you are not likely to qualify for a Pell Grant. And those same standards typically apply to a state grant. Sometimes within your home state, you might be able to qualify for some level of a state grant, even if you're denied a Pell Grant, but not always. Grants from the federal or state government are typically going to be need-based. So if you are a family that doesn't meet that income cutoff, then what's going to happen is you need to somehow be able to pay for college through other sources, right? And so for families, that's going to be income, savings, gift money, scholarships, right? And possibly loans. But again, loans are something that you should really avoid if at all possible.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk a little bit later about loans and loan forgiveness and all of that. Okay, so but let's say there are multiple scholarships you'd like to apply for, and I remember going through school. Some of these take time and they're different. So talk to me about ways to maybe kind of streamline that. Are there ways to apply for like multiple scholarships at one time and kind of cover your bases?
Okay, so first of all, there are three kinds of scholarships. I'm going to go through them very quickly. There's local scholarships in your community. These are scholarships you have a better chance of earning because there's a limited number of people that will be eligible, right? If it's a local scholarship and you're in Houston, then that means someone in New Jersey is not going to be eligible to apply. So local scholarships are always a good source. You always want to apply for scholarships offered by the university you are either attending or that you're planning to attend. Or if you're applying to multiple colleges right now, that means you apply to all of the scholarships offered at the colleges, at all the colleges you're attending, which is a lot of work. Then there is a third classification of scholarship, which is the private external scholarship. And that's what we have on the Scholarship Out platform. These are scholarships that are really great because no matter what school you go to here in the US, you can apply the funds you receive to attend that, to be able to attend the school of your choice. So it's really nice, especially if you're a high school senior and you don't know yet where you're going to go. Getting one of these scholarships is really nice because if you get $5,000, you can apply it to whatever school you decide to attend. As far as how to find and how to apply for those scholarships, with the Scholarship Out platform, we have a lot of really exciting tools that students can use to streamline their application process. So first of all, as I said, we've already done the search and match for you. So all you have to do is start applying to the scholarships in your match list. We also have some easy apply scholarships where literally if you click the button that says apply to all in the easy apply section of the website, then you can apply to all of those scholarships at once without doing anything else. So that's a way to sort of batch apply for easy apply scholarships. We have scholarships that require essays, and a lot of students like those, and I know that sounds funny, but there are a lot of really good students out there who have great application essays they use for college. They can often repurpose those and use them for scholarship essays. And then we also have a lot of scholarships that don't require an essay and that ask you to do something more creative and fun. Like you can even apply for scholarships with a TikTok video. You can, we just recently had a scholarship on our platform showing how to create dorm cuisine, coming up with a student-friendly recipe and showing photos or video of what you've made in your dorm. So there's all kinds of fun scholarships out there for students who don't love writing essays and who want to do something quick and easy. Most social media scholarships take just minutes to apply for. So if you're somebody who sort of has this, feeling, oh, scholarships are so hard, they're so difficult to find, I don't know if I'll qualify, it'll take me hours and hours. That's simply not true anymore because with Scholarship Owl, we have really made that process faster, easier, and more fun for students.
You got my attention. So what's involved if you're applying to a TikTok, using TikTok or one of these social media? How are these different than, writing the essay or just filling out a form?
Well, if you want to write, let's say, an essay about your academic and career goals, that might take you a certain amount of time to put that together. But if you are able to apply to a scholarship that asks for a video about that topic, you can sit in front of your smartphone for a minute or so and just record, hey, this is me, this is who I am, here's what I'm planning on majoring in and how I'm going to contribute to the world, right? You can do that in 30 seconds or a minute and be done. And that's pretty exciting as opposed to sitting down and trying to compose something that might take you an hour or more to put together.
Yeah, so it's really kind of tapping into the skills that the kids are really developing anyway.
Right, exactly. And if you're going to be on social media all the time, like so many of us are, why not make that time productive? Why not try to make money out of it and do it in a way that's safe? We're not asking students here to be influencers.
Uh-huh.
This is really for students who simply have a lot to share. Maybe there's a cause that they care about and they have found a scholarship where they get to talk about their favorite cause. So if you're looking for something where you can express yourself, if to be creative, this is a great way to go.
Are there certain types of scholarships that are easier to win, easier to earn than others?
Well, the best way to do that is to apply for scholarships with fewer applicants. And you might say, well, how will I possibly know how many applicants have applied for this scholarship? But with the Scholarship All platform, you can actually see how many other students on our platform applied for that very same scholarship. So you can actually know which scholarships to focus on. And you might say, well, there might be students outside the platform applying, and that is true. But we are the leading scholarship platform. So, if there are low numbers on our platform, that's going to be a microcosm of the general numbers that are out there. So I always recommend students focus on low competition scholarships to boost their chances.
You touched on this a little bit, but what would be some advice or some tips for a student that maybe isn't the best student academically, but there are still scholarships available for those kids, right?
There are, and I think what a lot of parents don't necessarily know, and students certainly don't necessarily know, is that there are a lot of scholarships out there that don't even ask for your GPA. They don't ask for your transcript. They just simply want to know what you think or how you feel about a particular topic, right? So there are scholarships out there about, how would you persuade someone not to text and drive, right? They don't care about your GPA. They don't care what you're majoring in. They just want to know what your advice would be or what your suggestions would be on that topic.
Are we looking at deadlines coming up anytime soon, or is this kind of an ongoing thing?
Students should be applying for scholarships really from the time they're a junior in high school all the way until they're finished with their college, including grad school if you plan to go to grad school. So it's a lot of years of applying for scholarships. The good news is that, first of all, scholarships are available year round. So if you didn't apply for scholarships a few months ago and you think you missed the boat, that's not true. There are scholarships available right now. And there will be scholarships available year round. The other thing is that the more you apply for scholarships, the better you get at applying for scholarships, right? It's just like anything else. Practice makes perfect. So if you start applying for scholarships and you don't win things right away, keep going, because really soon you'll realize, oh, what I wrote on this essay wasn't quite as good as what I wrote on this version here. I was less comfortable on camera 3 months ago when I recorded this video for that scholarship, but I feel so much better now in front of the camera. So the more you apply and the more effort you put into it, the better your returns will be. So I highly encourage students to keep going, keep applying, because they will bear fruit if you keep going.
Yeah. And that's, I laugh about that because whenever you search for a job, by the time you get the job, you're really good at applying for jobs at that point. You're like, but now I've got it. I don't need to keep doing it.
Exactly. Sometimes I've had students, I've worked with people also on how to find jobs. And sometimes the first thing they'll do is they'll really go for a job that they really, really want. And they'll apply too early before their LinkedIn account is ready and things like that. It's like, no, you practice on the ones you don't want. And then they'll develop those skills, and then you go for the ones you really want.
Yeah. Yeah. Take that practice interview when you can. All right. We digress. Let's talk a little bit. We touched on this earlier. We've got this huge thing today of loan forgiveness. And you talked a little bit about, I couldn't agree more, trying to avoid loans if you can. But are you expecting loan forgiveness to these are, current students, new students. Is that kind of changing the landscape in any way for scholarships and paying for college?
It's hard to know what will change, if anything, because we don't yet know for certain that student loan forgiveness is coming, right? We know that the Biden administration has put that forward. We know that they've started on their end to collect applications from students, which is awesome. If you think you'll qualify for loan forgiveness, please do apply as soon as possible. But we also know that there are lawsuits going, and at least one of them has put a temporary hold on student loan forgiveness. So what I tell students and parents now is proceed as if it's not happening, but apply for it just in case it does. But the most important thing to know for students that are going to be going to college this year or in future years is that this is considered to be one-time student loan forgiveness, right? So even if it goes through, it's not going to work for future loans. So for example, if you are a high school senior this year, or if you are a college freshman this year, if you have taken out loans after July 1st of this year, or if you will be taking out loans in the future, those loans will not qualify for debt forgiveness, even if it happens. The only loans that qualify are loans that were taken out prior to July 1st, 2022. So that's one important thing to know. And then as far as if you do have loans that were taken out prior to July 1st, 2022, it's highly recommended that you apply for student loan forgiveness by November 15th of this year. Even though you'd have theoretically till late in 2023 to apply, they're recommending you apply by November 15th so that in the event your loan payments are going to be starting in January, if your loan is forgiven before then, you would actually have that loan or a portion of your loan discharged before repayment begins.
Yeah, that's definitely good advice. Well, if someone wants to get more information, maybe utilize some of the resources on Scholarship Owl, I know you guys have ways people can get help for free and also a paid service. So just talk a little bit about how they can kind of get help from you guys.
Absolutely. So first of all, if you'd like to become a member of Scholarship Owl, you can go to scholarshipowl.com and sign up. The first 7 days are free. And then after that, it is a low fee subscription service. Also, you can join our online community on Discord, which is free to everyone, and you can get tons of information there. We have over 12,000 students in that Discord community, all talking about scholarships, financial aid, applying for college, student life, and students and parents are welcome to join. And so for that, you can go to Discord and simply search for Scholarship Owl and find us there. So either way, we're happy to help you.
Wonderful. Well, Jennifer Finetti, it was so great to have you with us. And thank you so much for sharing your wealth of knowledge on this topic, because I know it's overwhelming for so many students as they're going through this process. So it's great to have an expert kind of break it all down and to see that there's some light at the end of the tunnel. You really can find some ways to pay for college. So we appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
You bet. Again, that website is scholarshipowl.com. Right there on your screen, you can check them out. And you can also go to Sullivan Smart Sense on fox26houston.com. I've done lots of stories on paying for college and all, and the student loan forgiveness and all that kind of stuff. So if you just want some more information, you can go there as well. Keep those questions and topics coming to me. If there's any other topic you'd like us to cover to help you save money and get through this period of high inflation, just let me know. We will see you next time. And until then, have a great week.